Today we're going to talk about speed. One of the primary things we want to get across to all you athletes is speed can virtually 100% of the time be improved. For those of you who aspire to be really great, there are marginal differences that can make you much more attractive on a college recruiting tape, for instance. There is a huge difference between 7'1", 7'2", and 6'7". I've done hundreds of clinics in a variety of sports, and always we work on speed. And in all those clinics, I've never once seen an athlete, a student athlete, that can't get their speed improved. We're just going to give you a small sampling of 4 things that can be done that are usually done wrong, and if they are improved, will make you faster. Number 1, use your hands properly and your upper body. You want your feet to get faster? Make your hands faster and your upper body. Second thing is learn that sprinting is a matter of a series of vertical leaps. So take the lean out of it. To add to that is there is a proper upper body position and a proper lower body position and a proper cycling of the lower body. Number 3, I guess it is every race, I don't care if you're running to first base or running in a sprint, you want to think of the stages of the race. And it's basically get out, which is at 45 degrees, and then get up, and then accelerate through the finish line. The 4th thing is, which is very difficult, very, very difficult to get young athletes to comprehend, is you must learn to relax. Almost everybody that I've ever seen fights the race. They get tight, they get stiff, and they slow themselves down. Today we're going to talk about those 4 things really quickly. I'm going to start today by showing you an athlete. He is a high school junior who definitely aspires to college baseball. One of the things he's going to be displaying on a recruiting tape is his speed. Give you an example, just last week I saw 2 of these. Both of these kids that I saw on these tapes are cheating themselves out of their best times by improper mechanics. What we're going to do is we're going to show you this young man, we're going to show him run, and then we're going to go through those 4 things, how to do those things properly, and then we're going to show him at the end faster. Okay, I'm here with my partner that I do clinics with, TJ Green. TJ is a college football player, ran track in college, and also was signed to play with the Montreal Alouettes in the Canadian Football League. We do clinics together. Now, what we're going to do is just briefly break Matt down. Now, why don't you start? Tell him what he did with his what he did with his hands.
So the first thing I noticed when Matt was running is that his hands were in this position. When you're running, you want to act as if you're holding a potato chip. So I usually go middle finger to thumb, some light grasp, just like that. Like I said, you're holding a potato chip. So if you press too tight, your muscles are going to tense up, and that's going to slow you down. What you want to do is have a nice, tight little slight grasp on it, and just maintain that throughout the entire race. Also, when you're looking at it, his head was down like this.
Exactly.
That's too much cervical flexion. You want to be straight up, just like this. If you're going to be in the beginning of the race, you want to angle yourself in this position, but you always want to have throughout what anything you're doing. So if you place your head down like this, that's more strain, and that's also going to slow you down.
A very easy way of thinking of this, one thing we talk about throughout all of our discussion is put your athleticism in the background and think about physical lines, engineering that help you. Now, one thing that Matt did good, at least he was here. A lot of kids do this. They cross the midline of their body, and it's very simple. This means that I am taking force and I'm going to my left and I'm going to my right rather than here. At least Matt did this. The next thing that they do is, it's not, as TJ said, I want a relaxed thing. I want to hold this, so I have this position, but I'm not tense. If I can illustrate this, what they do when you start to do that, they swing the shoulder. Don't swing the shoulders. Swing from the shoulders. This is relaxed, and we want it just like this, just nice and relaxed. Now, a good exercise is just to do this, and as I get smooth and relaxed, then I can pick this up a little bit. And the faster my hands go, because they're connected across on a diagonal, that right hand is to the left foot, then my feet start getting faster. Talk a little bit more about this. It's the same principle. Basically, his head is down, so that force is going down.
So like I said, in the beginning of the race, that's fine if your head is ahead of you, because you actually want to be able to keep up with your legs. So all your weight is going forward. So you want to be able to keep up. That's what you want in the beginning of the race. That's your drive phase. But the thing that you notice with Matt is that, like I said, he had cervical flexion. So his body was not in this position as he took off. His head was just in this position. So I said that's strain, because those muscles, those upper traps that he's using to get the cervical flexion are straining him. So that's going to affect his shoulder motion and everything. So you don't want that. You want everything to be nice and in line and neutral with everything you do in life, not just sprinting.
Now let's start with number one, using your hands properly. I'm going to let TJ go through that again, okay, about just a relaxed hand, one, you know, that it's not this, it's not tension. There's a phrase that horsemen use, which is really great. It's, you know, when you talk about a horse that's stiff, they say on the muscle. You don't want to be on the muscle, you want to be loose. Well, let's talk about that again, about just a natural, nice, loose arm swing.
Okay, so as Carl said, or as I said as well, you want to be holding a potato chip. So it starts with the fingers. Like I said, I always go middle finger to thumbs, a nice light grip, and I'm moving through the shoulders. So I want my arms to be at a 90-degree angle, and all the movement's coming from the shoulders. So I don't want to be moving through my elbows. It's all from the shoulders. Nice and relaxed. Face the camera. If you look at me, I'm not crossing my body. My arms aren't crossing this way. It's nice and relaxed, back and forth.
Do that again. See, when he, again, like I said, when he goes side to side, then that's energy going side to side. That's power, that's strength, that's force going here. Also notice his head remains quiet and still. All that force is through his spine. Everything is relaxed. And his eyes, your head and your eyes give your body everything athletically. They give you balance, direction, and power. So when he drops down, go drop your head down. See, then that's going here. We want this. He wants to run through, look through his finish. What we've covered is basically 1 and 2. Hands and an upper body position where we're like this. What we're going to talk about next is that lower body cycle. Now, a lot of kids, what they think by reach, they reach out like this, okay? This is ineffective. Just put your foot there and try to push down. There's no power. The next thing that they do is they get this. They think that they throw the race away from themselves. What we actually do is sprinting. Show him, TJ, do a bound. If you'll see what he's doing is he's actually going vertically. He's going up and down. Okay, now let me demonstrate, and then we'll go back to him. Is what he's doing is he's going down through this line, just like a hammer driving through a nail, and he's got what's called a plantar flex, which means he's going here. He's not pushing down, he's pushing right straight down, and then it's this, and then now this is a very important thing, is when he comes up, it's a dorsiflex. I'm not going away like this, I'm going plantar flex here, and then dorsiflex. Note how I push down, heel up, and then toe up, and I use these muscles here. See this? Now this, by the way, is why every sprinting coach in America uses a series of skipping drills to make us faster. We're gonna show TJ running, but the next thing is that there are stages of a race. A variety of coaches call this, use different words for this. What I say is we get out. Now, when we get out, as TJ has talked about, that's a 45-degree angle. We want to boom, like this. Use our hands, get out 45 degrees. Now then we want to relax. We don't want to force it, but we want to relax into a vertical position. Everybody leans throughout the whole race. Wrong, 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 wrong. It's the quickest way, right? The quickest way to get fast is you've got to get upright so that we have that vertical energy that propels us forward. College athletics is all about this. I don't care how good you are. When you get to the next level, if you aspire to be a college athlete, you better learn how to think. And you better learn to think about these mechanical lines. Now, very common, in fact, it's not just common, it's unanimously, kids fight the race. Would you agree? They think the way to run faster is to try to run faster. And since you have a more recent history on the track, then you want to talk about how you need to learn to relax through the race.
Relaxation is probably the most important thing. It's always overlooked. Like I said before, when your muscles are tense, you're not able to get that full range of motion throughout your joints, and that in turn affects your speed. So let's just use my shoulders for example. If I'm tense like this, my shoulders range of motion is going to end here, and that's not giving me much force. But if I'm relaxed, I get a much bigger range of motion, therefore providing me with much more force. So the same thing can be applied to your legs. If you're squeeze your glutes and your hips are tight and you're tense, you're not going to get that nice good range of motion with your cycle. So again, if I'm relaxed, I get a much bigger range of motion with my leg. That's going to also affect your stride length and in turn your stride frequency.
Carl Lewis's coach was the first one to really be overtly verbal about this. There were a couple guys that could beat Carl Lewis out of the blocks. Maybe the premier sprinter of the 20th century. Nobody could beat Lewis at the finish line because it was all relaxation. And what you do with this tension, even in a 40-yard dash, you peak, right, at about 30 yards, right? And you start to decelerate. What you do if you relax, you accelerate. And I don't care if it's the goal line, I don't care if it's first base or you're stealing second base or whatever it is, if you learn to relax, you accelerate. Tense up, you decelerate. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our student, Matt Fraioli, and all we're doing, we've spent 5 minutes with him. We're going to have him do these couple things. Now, Matt's going to run alongside TJ, and the first thing we're going to work on is his arm swing. Now, you see that? See how? And that's a conversation. It's information. It's not working out. It's not spending 20 hours in the gym. It's information of how to use your body. It's here. See that? How much better? One small thing. That you feel faster?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now the next thing we're going to do, he kind of did this already, is we're going to go. He's running with TJ. TJ's going to talk him through. He's going to get his head up and relax that spinal column and work down through his hips. Lighten up his shoulders. Get that power down. Instead of being here, he's going to get that power down in his hips where it needs to be. So we've got a good arm swing, and he actually much better. Don't you agree? You feel faster, noticeably faster, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, and that wasn't even as good as he can be. And that's, you know, we're kind of being unfair to Matt because we're kind of pounding this quick. But to make a point, we're illustrating that it's not 1,000 reps in the gym. It's using this, and you were a little tight, but you felt freer in here, didn't you? Much faster already. What we're going to do now is we're going to have TJ, would like you guys to go down and just do a skipping cycle, okay, so that you get that correct cycle of your feet here.
All right, so what we're going to do here is just go over a demonstration of the leg cycle. A lot of people don't apply this to their running technique, and it's a much more efficient way to run. If you ever look at a cheetah run, its legs don't come up and down, they're spinning. For all the kids my age, I like to say, think of Sonic. When Sonic runs, you see nothing but circles. The speed are going in circles. You want to apply that same technique to when you run. So what Matt here is going to do is just a simple little exercise that you can do to condition your body to move efficiently while sprinting. So if you notice what he's doing, like Carl said before, he's keeping his feet in a dorsiflex position. That means that his toes are reaching up towards his head. And he's keeping in that position until he reaches the floor. Then he plantar flexes, and that's going to apply that force to send you forward. So basically what it looks like is a butt kick into a high knee. So again, Matt, just demonstrate a couple more for me. So he's starting by kicking that foot back, then he's bringing it through, getting hip flexion at the top, and then applying that force right back to the ground. He's just repeating that. It's all muscle memory. All right, so applying what I just showed Matt, I'm just gonna go over 3 simple exercises that you can do just to kind of, again, condition your mind and your body to move efficiently while sprinting. So you wanna be able to get that nice, good leg cycle. If you watch every great sprinter warm up, they're always going to do these 3 things somewhere along the way while they're warming up, whether it's closer to the race or right at the beginning. And again, like I said, these are just things to condition your mind and your muscles to move efficiently while sprinting. So the first thing I'm going to do is an A skip. Carl had me do these earlier, but I'm just going to do them again for you. So all you're doing is getting that high knee motion. Hip flexion at the top, and again, my feet are going to be dorsiflex, so my toes are going to be facing up towards my face the whole time until I apply force on the ground. So that right there is an A skip. Next, I'll show you the B skip. So the B skip now is similar to an A skip, but now I'm applying a cycle to it. So now my leg's gonna cycle through, and then I'm also gonna apply force to the ground again. So if you notice, my leg was cycling, my foot was kicking out, now I'm applying force right directly under me again. Lastly is the fast leg series. So this one requires a little bit more movement and a little bit more coordination. So I'd recommend starting with a progression or sooner a better progression for this before you actually are able to do this. So all you're gonna do is keep one leg stiff and the other one's gonna be doing the cycle. Now if you notice, I'm getting that butt kick into a high knee and my left leg was doing nothing.
To review, again, as I've said, I've done a gazillion of these they've been associated with all sports, and I've never seen a student athlete that we can't get faster with these 4 things. Number 1, you learn to use your upper body, particularly your hands. You want fast feet, get fast hands. Secondly is learn the cycle. Learn how your upper body works with your lower body, get a proper cycle with your lower body. Third, learn the phases of the race. Again, other coaches may term it differently, but it's out, up, and through, and finally, relax. The 2 of us are going to be doing clinics and give you some more information, and that's it. Thanks for showing up, and we're going to finish off with showing Matt. And at the beginning, he was Sammy the Slow, and we've turned him into a world-class sprinter in a half hour.